Hello and welcome to That Shooting Show. My name's Steve Anderson. I am your humble host. I have just returned from Zanesville, Ohio, where I transported a decapitated deer head in the back of my Jeep Gladiator. Joey, have you ever transported a decapitated deer head? I'm sorry,
Uh,
deer head. For a little slip there.
no, and I don't own a pickup truck, so I probably wouldn't even if I wanted to.
Yeah, so my wife, she does the hillbilly thing. She's like, "Yeah, I need you to go pick up this deer we processed," and I'm thinking, they come in little 1 pound bags of Bambi meat. And then this lady walks out of the back room holding this decapitated deer head and just plops it on top of the box. And I'm a little bit of a city boy, and I was like, and this lady's dressed in camo head to toe. I mean, if she was in the bushes, you couldn't see her. And I was like, "Ma'am, how do you feel about a bag for the decapitated deer head?" So that was my morning. How was your morning?
Mine was great. Usual day at work, and I just after dry firing, I went to go pick out a new ice bath that I'm gonna go get here in a bit.
That sounds pretty awesome. You could probably put a decapitated deer head in there and keep it fresh.
Yeah, yeah, that's my plan.
So, but before that, I had a day of just amazing news today. So, I want you to show your excitement, appreciation for all the news I've got to tell everybody. Okay, number one, our good buddy Jay Beal is on the Walther Radio podcast, dropping today. Pretty cool. And you got to meet Jay at Ipswich Nationals, right? Surely you've met him before.
Yeah, I ran into him, I think only once briefly at maybe the Buckeye Blast this past year, the Ohio State Championship. But I saw him down at Ipswich Nats. We got to talk for a minute. And at some point, he actually messaged me. We didn't really get a chance to talk much, but he messaged me and said that we needed to get on a podcast together and just talk about, training and dry fire and stuff, which I wanted to talk with him about those things anyway. So that'll happen at some point.
Well, let's do it here. Why not?
Let's do it. He had mentioned
Let's
another
do it.
podcast where I think he knows the guys, but I don't see why we wouldn't do it on both.
Yeah, sure, we can make that happen too. And then, of course, Walther announced the mighty new Walther PDP steel frame, which I will have my hot and sweaty hands on probably in about a week or so. Be able to tell you all about that.
Mm.
I know you're super excited about a Walther steel frame. I get it, Joe, but it's kind of a big deal.
I do like steel frame guns. Big fan.
Yes, yes, you do. And I just found out we got the tour dates finalized for my next South African tour. Going to be in South Africa from May 20th to June 2nd. You can contact Shanae for all those details. If you don't know Shanae and you're in South Africa, you're probably not in the shooting community. But if you know Shanae, get a hold of her. And the most important piece of news of the day, Joey, are you ready for the most exciting thing I have to announce?
Yeah, I'm ready.
I got some information from an up and coming guy who is kind of out of nowhere on the competition scene, crushing virtually everything in his path. And this guy put out a little bit of a feeler. He's like, "Hey, how would you feel about doing a class with me at the Midwest Shooting Center in Lima, Ohio?" And I'm normally very skeptical of co-classes. I mentioned to this guy that most of my experience with assistant instructors has been a little dubious because you're trying to show the guy what to do, and the assistant instructor guy is like, "Oh, you need to put 12% more pressure on your pinky." And I'm like, "Okay, Mr. Assistant Instructor guy, maybe you might be right. However, that is not the most critical piece of information we're discussing right now." Right. And it gives me great pleasure to announce that the guy we're going to be doing this class with February 24 and 25 at the Midwest Shooting Center in Lima, Ohio, is you.
Yeah, buddy. That's right.
You're the crosser. And I got
You
to
and
tell
me,
you,
baby.
you came up with a name for this thing that I really like. What was the name you come up with in our conversation?
Well, I came up with a subheading. You came up with the name, which was well, what was the name you came up with?
The Complete Practical Shooter.
Oh yeah, the complete practical. There's almost three titles we need. So I'm picturing a flyer, and on the top of the flyer, in big arching letters, it says "The Complete Practical Shooter," and then in kind of fun small print, left to right, it says "Mind, Body, Gun" or "Mind, Body, Shooting," and then in
Mind Body Skills, I think is what you meant to say.
mind, yeah, mind, body, skills. And then in extra medium print beneath all of that, it says an immersive experience.
Yeah. I
You
could
know,
probably get my daughter to whip that out and some crayon, unless you have a better source of such a flyer.
I've got someone who will make a really good flyer. My
Okay.
girlfriend's really talented with that kind of stuff, so she'll make it.
And by the way, we had our first sign up this morning. We've already had one person sign up. There's only 15 spots left.
Oh,
Do you
right
know
on.
a Skylar Davis?
Oh yeah, that dude's jacked and very attractive. Not to be weird, I'm just saying if someone's gonna sign up for our class, that's a good person to have signed up. I think he actually no, he commented on the post I made on Instagram, and he said, "What did he say?" He said, "I'm in there like swimwear." That's what he said.
Well, I was under the impression that Skylar was a dudette. You're saying Skylar's a dude.
Skyler is one on the spectrum. He's very far on the masculine side. Like he has long hair, but it's like John Wick long hair.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool. Well, we'll teach him how to do some John Wick things.
yeah,
So
yeah. He's a
let's.
great guy for that class.
So here's the deal. The reason I was so excited about doing this with you is because you and I both bring, in addition to the shooting stuff,
Right.
and let's face it, the shooting stuff is not the shooting stuff by itself is not that difficult to teach or understand, right? There's some things you got to do. I have a particular way you teach it. You're going to have a particular way you teach it. But what I'm super excited about are the parts that nobody else is talking about, right? When I get so here's what we're going to do. We're going to have 16 shooters, well, 15 extra, including Skylar. So Skylar plus 15. We're going to break this into two groups of 8, and they're going to spend a day with me and a day with you. And this is going to be so cool. So tell them what they're going to get on Joey Day.
So on Joey Day, there first we're gonna do shooting stuff. We have to do the fitness stuff second because even though the fitness stuff we're gonna do is for everyone, you could be someone who works out every single day. You will still have something to gain from the fitness. Less, I'll admit. If you're someone who already works out every single day, you have less to gain than someone who doesn't work out at all. But you'll still be something to gain. And then especially if you're a beginner to fitness or you don't work out on any kind of regular basis, or maybe your fitness is, you maybe sit on like a couple machines at the gym, maybe like walk on the treadmill, you're going to get just like mental management, the fitness education experience and program that you're going to leave the class program how to proceed. um it's going to be so good. It's going to be so good. And just like mental management, it's going to be so good for the rest of your life too. Having your body work well and move well and last a long time. It's not just for shooting; it's for your quality of life, right? So,
What if somebody is 50 or 60 years old and they're in decent shape but they're not working out? Obviously, you can help them as well.
even if they're not in decent shape, for people who don't know, my day job, I work at a gym. I'm a trainer at a gym, and the average age of one of my clients is probably 60. That's the
Oh
that's the
wow.
that's the median age of my clients, and my clients go as young as probably like 14 age. Got a couple like kids who play hockey who I train strength and conditioning for hockey, and my oldest people are in their 90s. I got a couple 90-year-olds who are in the gym. They're doing kettlebell swings, they're doing squats, they're doing lunges, and they're killing it. So I don't want to hear any excuses.
So just briefly, because we have a lot to cover. People have asked me, and I have wondered, when somebody gets in their 50s and 60s, how does their body's response to exercise change, or does it because of
uh,
age?
okay, so it should be noted, this let me answer the question this way. How your body reacts to exercise and responds to exercise doesn't change anywhere near as much as your body's reaction to exercise based on exercise, if that made sense. So exercising regularly will have a much greater impact on how you respond to exercise than how old you are. So what that means is, a basically, if you've got a 50-year-old who's doing challenging and effective exercise on a regular basis, there's going to be exercises that are extremely easy for them, things are going to be easy for them that for a 20-year-old who's very out of shape and never exercises is going to struggle with. So
I see.
age has much less to do with it than your physical abilities, and you shouldn't not participate in this because of your physical abilities, because the whole reason to come is to enhance your physical abilities.
Perfect. All
Yeah.
right, so you can do the workout stuff first because people probably don't want to work out for however long you're going to have them do fitness stuff and then shoot. You're probably going to do that last, correct?
Yeah, that'll be at the end of the day. And for the people who have me on Saturday, I'm gonna do. You know what I'm gonna do? We might break it up that way. If you have friends you're signing up with, we'll try and keep the friends. We'll keep your friends group together. But I think I'll probably take of the population of people who sign up. Maybe we'll take the more physically capable people. I'll take on the first. And if there's anybody who falls into the maybe less physically capable category, they'll do it on the second day. That way, their second day isn't affected by any
Now, wait,
maybe muscle
hang on a
soreness
minute.
they
They
might.
need to come in swimsuits and leadards so you can evaluate their physical
Yeah,
fitness. What would you say? Saturday, Sunday,
might
Saturday,
hit
Sunday. Oh, for
yeah,
sure, Sunday.
really definitely coming on Sunday. That's funny.
What are you going to come with a clipboard and you and calipers and pinch their muffin top and see which day they got
Yeah,
to start?
that's exactly what I'm gonna do. Yeah, especially the guy who already signed up. I'm really gonna caliper pinch him. He definitely.
All right. So outside of physical fitness, what are you planning to cover?
Okay, so yeah, that'll be the second half. That'll be the unique thing that's unique to shooting that nobody else is doing. But for the shooting part, is going to be a lot of movement stuff. Um, that's stuff that I work on a lot: speed and movement, and also shooting while moving. Because one thing, because it should be noted also that Steve Anderson, is my coach and my mentor. So there's some measurable percentage of the stuff that I teach is stuff that I've simply learned from you, Steve. So, one of the biggest lessons you ever taught me was visual patience. And so, we're going to be working some visual patience into movement. So, there'll be speed movement, how to do things quickly, and there'll also be visual patience, which basically is going to mean how to shoot while moving, how to get the hits you want while moving at different speeds, different scenarios. But it's gonna, and there's gonna be some other shooting technique stuff that I'm gonna work in there too. But the main takeaway is gonna be movement stuff, movement speed, movement quality, shooting while moving.
It's wonderful. Do you remember being down on my range in the rain and we worked up a movement drill underneath my little shed?
Oh,
And
life altering, and I don't want you to say it. I don't want you to say it. I don't want anyone. I don't want anyone who's not paying for it to hear it.
I know. I mean, when I personally learned that, it took everything I thought I knew about movement and put a little box and threw it at the bottom of the ocean
No,
because the
it's
idea behind how to move effectively is so astonishingly simple that it's going to blow people's minds when they experience it. It's going to be
I
so cool.
yeah. I'm trying to frustrate everyone who's listening to this podcast by reiterating that it was so simple. You said one short sentence. It was like less than 10 words, you said, and it altered forever how I decrease the amount of time it takes to shoot all the targets. Forever.
Yeah.
When I was dry firing earlier today, I had kind of like a small stage set up, and I was trying to figure out how to cut time off. And I was working on everything. I was like, maybe the answer is I need to get lower. Maybe the answer is I need to run faster between here and here. Maybe the answer is I need to lead with my eyes more. And I'm trying all these things, and then I was like, oh, you know what? You just fall back on the old reliable. Open up the secret briefcase. I was like, old reliable right here, and it was what you told me. And immediately, a drill that I've been working on for probably 20 minutes straight, trying to shave a tenth of a second off or 2/10 of a second off, took about a second off of it.
And what's interesting is there are things that need to be done to support this radically simple idea, but it's
Mm-hmm.
so much simpler than people want to make it.
Oh yeah.
Right? And I can't wait to hear. Is there anything else you want to tell them about Joey Day?
No, that's good for me. That's good for me. Snacks will not be provided. So
Okay.
yeah.
Now, I am anticipating. I I did notice when I looked up Midwest Shooting Center in Lima, Ohio, I noticed they normally open at 10. I was hoping to start at 9. Do you think that'll be an issue?
Oh no, no. When they have like so they put on whole 6 stage USPSA matches there, and they open way like check in is like 7 a.m. there. We for our special event we will have special privileges.
All right, perfect. Now, speaking of special privileges, they will also get to handle
Oh,
firearms, Walther and Masterpiece Arms. What is Lauren going to bring? Is she going to bring the whole suitcase?
we haven't decided yet. How about this? Anybody who signs up for the class, DM me on Instagram and let me know if there are any Masterpiece Arms guns that you would specifically like to see there. Open, limited, limited optics, IDPA, whatever it is. Whatever it is. Steel challenge, optics, irons. DM me and we'll make it happen. It'll be there.
And I will take care of ammunition from Outdoor Dynamics. People are welcome to shoot their own ammo, but I will make sure we have plenty of ammunition from Outdoor Dynamics if people don't have the caliber that they want to shoot.
Oh, very
I
cool.
and I will personally commit. I am 99.999% sure I'll have the new steel frame PDP by then. And I'll also bring my polymer so people can compare and contrast those two. And then if they want to compare a Walther steel frame to a Masterpiece Arms limited optics, they can do that, right? And they can compare and contrast to their heart's content. That's going to be so exciting. People get to actually put their hands on these guns. Now, what I'm going to do, by the way, I added something, Joey, for extra value.
Oh,
The first two hours with me are going to be the first two mental management classes. And then what I'm going to do is make the third class available for free online at a later date.
whoa. So you can take the
Because
whole mental management course that weekend and the rest of it for free. Incredible.
that's correct. Because I don't like doing things incomplete. And when you and I spoke, I'm perfectly fine giving the intro to mental management and the mental management system. That's completely fine. But class 3 is so important to their future that I do not want to leave them hanging on it, and I do not want to charge them any extra for it. I want them to, because this class is more expensive than most. It's $700. But I have never seen a class advertised or offered that offers literally everything you need, from the mind to the body to the skills. And I got to tell you, folks, if you're going to come to this class, bring a notebook. You are going to be drinking from not two fire hoses, well, two separate fire hoses. There'll be a fire hose over here because you can't drink from two fire hoses, but there'll be two fire hoses available to drink from.
Why can't you drink from two?
Not at the same time because we're going to split them up. Remember, you're going to go through with your
Oh,
magic mirror and your
okay.
muffin top calipers, and you're going to put them into pudgy and not pudgy, and give them a complex right off the bat.
For everyone listening, it's not how it's gonna work. It's not how it's gonna work. I'll let you choose. I'll let you choose what day you do it on. How about that? What day you go on? And it's not gonna be that bad. It's not gonna be like if you do the physical fitness stuff on the second half of the first day, you're gonna be in pain all day Sunday. Like, oh, I can't participate. I'm hurt too bad. It's not gonna be like that. It's not gonna be like that. You might feel it. You might feel it, but that's good. That's good.
Well, and just like all the classes I do, what you do after the class is so much more important than what happens in the class,
Oh yeah.
right? There is only one question when the class is over that frustrates me a little bit, right? And virtually one person in every class. We wait till the whole thing is done. I pause for questions and comments after every exercise we do. And then the guy at the end of 2 days turns to me and says, okay, now what? And my response is, appreciate the question. I understand where it's coming from. What you need to do is all the stuff we've been doing for 2 days. And people need to bring a notebook. They need to take notes. They need to take pictures of the drills. I am okay with a small amount of video recording, as I'm sure you are as well.
Yeah.
But obviously, we're not going to let people film the entire class. That doesn't protect our intellectual property. But you're
Right.
welcome to take snippets of video. And regarding the fitness stuff, are you going to have any? Are you going to show them stuff? They're going to write it down. Are you going to have any handouts, or how do you plan to handle that?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, first, we're going to talk about defining success, which, even though we're doing this in physical fitness and performance, is literally just stolen straight out of the Steve Anderson book. We're going to define success, which can be different for everyone. But the success that I'm going to define for everyone is your body's ability to do the things required for shooting things really fast. Um, and then we're going to go over what we're going to define that success really well. What does it mean to have your body able to do these things? What's required to be able to do those things? And then we're going to talk about kind of some of the foundational essential things that you're going to have to do to increase your body's ability to do those things. Then we're going to do those foundational things. We're going to practice them. We're going to talk about them. We're going to make sure everybody learns them, learns how to do them right. Then we're going to do a workout, right? Kind of a little mock workout, see what it's like to, to do a full workout. It's gonna be doable, but it can chillax. It's gonna be very doable. And then we're gonna talk about progressions and regressions. So that means customizing your exercises, right? So exercise A for person one is way more challenging than it is for person two because those are two very different people. So we're going to talk how to make that exercise harder, more challenging, more advanced, how to make it less hard, less challenging, and less advanced. So anybody can do it. And as you do it more and you get better at it, well, then you can progress it and move it up to the next thing, make it harder, make it more challenging. That way you get stronger and you get better at it. And then you can progress it again, make it harder and even more challenging. We're talking about how to do that. And then everybody's going to leave with, and again, this may have varying degrees of helpfulness to different people based on how they're what they are or aren't already doing. But everybody's going to leave with basically an outline, a rough draft written program of what they're going to start doing on a regular basis to enhance their physical fitness and performance abilities.
Perfect. And I forgot to mention the rest of what I was going to do because we keep going back to you judging everyone's bodies immediately when they show up. Um, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to give mental management 1 and 2. Mental management 2 includes the flow chart that if you stay on it and allow it to govern every thought you have for your competition day, you will you will enjoy much, much greater consistency and much, much better performance. So we're going to do that for roughly 2 hours. Then we're going to immediately go to the range, and I'm going to show you how to use mental management to shoot a stage in a match from beginning to end. Right?
But
Because a lot of people hear about mental management, and I know they're sitting there scratching their heads going, okay, I understand this kind of, but what do I do with the match? We're going to show you exactly how to go through that flow chart. I'm going to walk you through the entire mental management flow chart on the range. Then we're going to work on accuracy, and accuracy is decent clickbait, but you know it's really good clickbait, Joey?
speed.
Accuracy at speed.
Oh,
I mean, we're going to talk about how to achieve accurate. We're going to break the internet, right?
that's full sport.
Accuracy at speed. And then we're going to move on to the most important skill a practical shooter can have, which is shot calling.
Yep.
We're, we're going to show you how to learn to call your shots. We're going to show you how to practice calling your shots. And then we're going to show you how to practice match mode in a group so that you're put in an environment where you're tasked with leaving only acceptable shots as quickly as you can see them, but you will not have the ability to slow down or speed up because I am convinced that the conscious control of speed is the biggest problem in the sport, certainly from a mental perspective, right? Oh, over here I got to go really fast, but not over here I got to go slow. Here I don't need my dot. Screw the dot. Don't need to see nothing. Oh, here I got to focus really hard. It's so much simpler than that. And we're going to make this extremely simple. And you know, it's interesting because as you were talking about the physical fitness, I realized that what you're explaining is no different than starting a dry fire program, right? When you first start, your part time might be a 1-1. Well, that's great. Or it might be a 1-9. And where it's at depends on where you go next. That's really cool. This is going to be so much fun, man.
It's really the exact same stuff, just with different words.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then you and I will certainly put our heads together and make sure that I'll tell you this, I will personally commit to making this the most value you can get for your money, because it is going to be expensive at $700. That's more than most classes. However, you are going to have a complete training situation for your mind, a complete training situation for your body, and a complete training situation for all the skills that you need to be successful in the sport.
It'd be really cool because obviously there's a lot more to this class than most other classes, right? You're gonna be leaving with a lot to do. I think it'd be really cool. Somebody who's thinking about signing up for this class, please bring please sign up at least one of your friends who's, when I say new, I mean they've at least seen, maybe shot one or two USPSA matches, but they're not classified. They don't have a member number. They don't dry fire. I mean, brand new blank slate. And they just take, and who's not in great shape and doesn't work out. And we just take that blank slate person, someone with an open mind, who's going to take what they learn at this class. They're going to take it seriously. They're going to try as best they can to absorb it, and they're going to leave the class with it and start doing it. I mean, I like where's that person? We should just track that person for the next month. Like a
So,
case study.
so much fun. And I also want to point out that the normal 2 day class that I do is between 5 and 550, and mental management online or in person is 300. So they're actually saving 50 to $100 by doing it all at the same time, because we're going to give them class 3 online at a later date to make sure they learn how to write a journal and they learn how to reprogram their self-image to be the shooter that they want to be. And that's so powerful for physical fitness too, because everybody's physical fitness is a list of always and nevers, right? I always eat dessert, I never go to the gym. Or I always go to the gym and I never eat dessert, right?
Yeah.
And those are the rules we live by. And that's what determines who we are. Well, those rules can be changed. It's not going to be easy and it's not going to be fun. But if you desire something different, you got to start doing something different. And it's just as simple as that, right, Joe?
Oh yeah, pretty much. I think it's never easy, but I think it can be fun.
If we have pay value, right?
Yes. Yes.
People
So
that want, so like somebody who's recently divorced and wants to go out on the market and start turning heads, getting in better shape is the easiest thing in the world for them to do, because there's so much pay value in getting back on the market, right? But if somebody's happily married, getting in better shape, there's a lot less pay value for that, so it's much harder to get motivated.
mm-hmm.
And shooting's the same way, right? We're going to show, and by the way, I want people to come to this class who have the loftiest goals in the state of Ohio or the surrounding area. We're pretty close to Michigan at this point, I think, in Lima. But
uh,
I want people who want to be national champions. And I also want beginners, because man, we can just transform those people. The only people that I wouldn't want to have are people that are not interested in reaching their potential, right? Because this is all about reaching your potential behind the gun, reaching your potential above the shoulders, and reaching your potential from head to toe in your body. It's going to be so cool.
See, I thought you were gonna say revolver shooters, but they can come too.
Dude, revolver shooters are great because they don't waste time picking up brass.
Dude, lot of respect. A lot of respect to revolver shooters. I tell you what.
Is that it? I tell you what, and you're not going to tell us what? You already did.
No, I tell you what, I got a lot of respect for revolver shooters. I tell you what. That's how that works.
The last guy I had at my range was a revolver shooter, and I love it when I get to revolver shooters, because rather than me telling them what I think they should do, I get to ask them, "What do you think, with your revolver knowledge, would result in a more efficient execution of this skill?" And they always know what it is, and I say, "Hey, try that." And they're like, "Yep, that worked out great. On to the next." So we decided to keep this kind of short because the pod daughter will come busting in the door at any minute, causing all kinds of dog noise. What I want to tell people is this is going to be the most complete shooting class you could possibly imagine. We're going to show you everything we know about how to do this stuff really well. We're going to start, my day will start with mental management. Joey's day will end with physical fitness and a nice little sandwich in between there. You're going to get everything we know about how to shoot better, quicker, faster, more efficiently, more accurately. It's going to be awesome.
Boom. I'm excited.
February 24 and 25. Now, Joey, I don't know much about Lima, or I assume there's hotels in Lima, decent hotels.
I've I've only in Lima ever gotten off the highway and then pulled into the shooting center, and I can guarantee that there is at least one gas station. That's about it.
Okay. Well,
The shooting center though is extremely nice. I mean, like if we had to sleep at the shooting center, we'd be fine. There's like a full finished like kitchen. It's like couches, bathrooms. I mean, if we had to sleep there, we'd be okay.
what is the extra charge if somebody wanted to share a couch with you overnight? Is there an extra fee for that, or does it depend on how you caliper measured their muffin top? How much you're going to charge them
Yeah,
for that?
that was actually my question for you, Steve. Are we sharing a hotel room? Because I can get separate rooms. I can share one. Doesn't matter to me.
No, my snoring, Joey. You do not want to be involved in my snoring. My wife actually woke me up forcefully 2 nights ago to physically force a second nasal strip onto my nose in some sort of vain effort to quiet my snore. I was already wearing one. All right, so I'm feeling pretty good. I'm moving some pretty good air. So I wake up to this jabbing sensation of my wife jamming a second nasal strip on top of the first nasal strip in a vain
Wow.
effort to get me to snore. And of course, right in between all of this is a great Dan who also snores.
Uh-huh.
So we're going to do separate hotel rooms.
All right, perfect, perfect. Like I say, the only thing I care less about than being comfortable is money. So I could go either way. It doesn't matter to me. Get my own room. I don't care what hotel we stay at either.
Outstanding. So,
As long as Jose Rossi isn't in the same building. There's this guy named Jose Rossi. I don't know if you ever met him. Somebody listening to this podcast knows him, and my God, if I was in the hotel room with him again ever, I would just dry fire all night long because there's just a 0% chance I would get any sleep, and it'd be better use of my time to dry fire the entire time.
well, you could always take a second nasal strip and physically force it onto his nose while you could try that.
I couldn't, yeah, I wouldn't want to touch him because if he snored any louder, it might like hurt me physically. I don't want to get that close to him. There's like a blast radius. Yeah. Well,
All right. So
uh,
once again, Joey Sauerland and I will be doing the immersive experience of the complete practical shooter, training the mind, the body, and the skills. February 24 and 25 at the Midwest Shooting Center in Lima, Ohio. It obviously is indoors. That's where the snuggling with the couches will be with Joey, nice and safe indoors. We will have guns
yes.
from Walther and Masterpiece Arms, ammunition from Outdoor Dynamics, and it's going to be awesome, Joe. I'm so looking forward to this. Anything else you want to add about our plans?
No, I think that's about it. It should be pretty wild. It should be pretty crazy. If you're trying to decide between classes because you want to get everything out of one class, it's probably the class you should sign up for.
Oh, and the other thing that's interesting is you have taken the information that I provided you and had demonstrable success. So if there's anybody out there who's been listening to the podcast who has not won 6 out of 8 area matches and extremely high finishes at 2 national events, if anybody has not done those things, Joey is in a very interesting position to say, you know what? When I heard Steve say this, I did this. When I heard Steve say this, I did this. So you'll be an excellent translator.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that because I've been in USPSA for about 3 years, and I've been really competing for 2 years, really training for 2 years, and I feel like mildly self conscious about who's this guy who's only 2 years deep in training and thinks he has so he thinks he has something to say. My only thing that I'm here to say is here's what I've done, and this worked for me. So that's all I'm here to put out in front of me is here's what's worked really, really well for me, for you
Well, and I
guys.
think, and it's obvious you got the hardware to back it up.
Some would say.
Most would say. All right,
Most,
we're gonna go ahead and sign off here. To sign up for the class, just go to andersonshooting.com, click on upcoming classes. Instagram is very opposed to links. Did you manage to get a link posted on the
Oh,
Instagram?
I put links on it, baby. Links are on my Instagram post
Because everybody
and
says link
stories.
in bio. I don't know what link in bio means. Is that what you did? Link in bio, or did you do some other magic?
That's something that I'll teach at the class for people. For the Sunday
What?
exercise people, I'll teach that in the class.
I'll teach how to do Instagram link and I'll
Yeah,
be present taking notes for Instagram
yeah.
link and bio.
All right, I gotta go. I gotta go pick up my new ice bath. So, excellent talk, Steve. I'm looking forward to this a lot.
All right, Joe. We'll see you very soon, February 24 and 25, if not before. We hope to see 15 more of you, including the gender ambiguous Skylar Davis. We look forward to seeing Skylar and 15 more of you February 24 and 25 at the mid. Is this guy going to want to whoop my ass now for calling him gender ambiguous?
I wouldn't want to fight him. He'd probably kick my ass. Yeah, if I'm being honest.
All right. Well, maybe I'll have you fight him for me, and I'll sit back and take notes.
See, even both of us against him. I don't know. He's got that John Wick hair, man.
Can we use guns, or is it going to be a fist fight?
He's not bad with a gun either. Both of us with guns, though, he'd be screwed. He'd be screwed. Both of
All
us
right.
with guns, he wouldn't. Yeah, it'd be bad chances for him. Yeah.
All right, we'll leave it there then. All right, Joe, you have a wonderful day. We'll look forward to seeing you and 15 more people very soon, February 24 and 25.
All right, sounds good, Steve. See ya.
I'll see you, bud. Looking forward to it.